In this video we'll go over how to solve simultaneous equations. The first method we are going to use is the substitution method. This works quite nicely when you have a variable that is just multiplied by 1. So for example the y here that we have. So the first step that we are going to do is, instead of writing this y in this first equation, we are going to substitute it with x plus 3. We can do this because this is only a single y here. If this was multiplied by 2, we would not be able to easily use this method, and we would have to consider another method or rearranging the equation in order to get it. You can rearrange the equation, so for example this equation is similar to negative x plus y is equal to 3. So you can rearrange any equation to be of that format and make it y equals. You could also have rearranged this to make it x equals, because it is going to be x is equal to y minus 3. But let's just solve this as we have it. So what I am going to do is I am going to copy down the beginning of the equation, and I am going to write 2, and I'm going to do an open bracket instead of writing y. Then instead of writing y, I am going to write what we are substituting it with, so in this case x plus 3, and close my bracket, and that is equal to 21. So now we are going to expand our bracket, so 3x plus 2 times x, so 2x, okay, plus 2 times 3, so 6 is equal to 21, and join your like terms together, so you're going to have 5x plus 6 is 21. Next we need to think about how we can get x by itself, so we subtract 6 from both sides, because that is the last thing that was done to x. So we have 5x is equal to 15, and now we are going to divide by 5, and we will get x equals 3. Right, we are only halfway there for our solution. We now need to find y. With these equations it is great because we can just substitute this into the equation that we already have, y is equal to x. So we are going to replace x by 3, so 3 plus 3. And so we are finding out that y is equal to 6. So therefore, 3 triangles means therefore the solution is 3, 6. Okay, let's look at another one. So in this case we are going to have 2x plus 3y is equal to 35, and y is equal to x plus 5. So again we're going to substitute that y by x plus 5. So we're going to write down the equation as it normally would. So 2x plus 3, open bracket, replace the x with the x, replace the y, sorry, with x plus 5, and that is equal to 35. Expand your brackets, so we're going to have 3x plus 15 is equal to 35. Join your like terms, so 5x plus 15 equals 35. And we are going to go through and minus 15 from both sides. So 5x equals 20. Divide by 5. X is equal to 4. And we are going to take that and substitute that back into this top equation. So y is equal to 4 plus 5, so it is 9. Therefore, the solution is 4, 9. Okay. Now let's look at the second method, when you have equations and you don't want to rearrange it. So you are going to use the elimination method. This also works quite nicely if you can't divide everything by a common factor in order to get a variable on its own. So x minus 2y. This one we could rearrange if we wanted to, but I am going to show you this method so you can be able to use this method in the exam if needed. So what we are going to do is we need to first decide what variable you are wanting to eliminate. Okay, so I have decided it's going to be easier for me to eliminate the x because all I have to do is multiply that equation by 2. So I am just going to write that next to it. So I'm going to multiply the whole thing by 2. So that means every element is going to get multiplied by 2. So rewriting that first equation, we are going to get 2x minus 4y is equal to negative 4. So now we have to write the other equation that we did not change. If you had to multiply them, so say you wanted to get rid of the y's, you'd have to multiply the top one by 3 and the bottom one by 2. In this case, we did not change anything to do with that second equation. Now we need to add or subtract the equations in order to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually subtract that second one. And by doing so, I'm going to change all the positive signs to a negative. And so I'm going to add them together, or actually take away, essentially. So 2x take away 2x is 0x, so we don't bother to write that. 4 take away 3, well that's negative 7x. Y. And that equals 4 take away another 10, so negative 14. Now we are going to divide by negative 7. And we get y is equal to 2. And then we're going to choose one of the equations, whatever one is easiest, to substitute that in. I am personally going to choose that first one because it means I do not have to divide by 2 later on to find what x is. So x minus 2y is equal to negative 2. I'm going to replace this y with 2. So x minus 2 times 2 is equal to negative 2. So x minus 4 is equal to negative 2. So x is positive 2. So therefore the solution is 2, 2. Okay? Let's go over a slightly more complicated one where we are going to, it's not that much more complicated, but we'll go over it. So just writing out the equation now. So 3p plus 2q is equal to 26, and 4p minus 8q is equal to negative 40. Okay, what I am going to do is decide what variables I want to get rid of. So I could choose p if I wanted to, or I could choose q. In this case, I'm going to choose q because I only have to multiply that top one by 4. So let's rewrite that top one, all multiplied by 4. Right. So 104. And then we'll just write that second one as we normally would. So 4p minus 8q is equal to negative 40. Okay, And again, if you can't multiply easily by 4, there is some quick ways. So 26 is just 20 plus 6, and we can multiply each of them by 4. So 20 times 4, oops, so 20 times 4 is 80, and 6 times 4 is 24. So add those two together and you're going to get 104. Okay, so just remember that you will not have a calculator in order to do this. Right, so now because we're trying to eliminate Q, we have a plus and a minus. So these two, if we just added them together, are going to cancel out. So we do not need to multiply by 1 or negative 1, sorry. So we're just going to add them together. So 12 plus 4 is 16p. The middle cancels out. 104 take away 40 is 64. Okay, so now we need to divide 64 by 16. That may seem quite hard to do, but let's just first play with 16. So we're going to add 16 to itself, and that gives us 32. If we add 32 to itself, it's 64. So in fact, P is actually going to be 4. Okay? So if you get to a number and you're not sure what it is, just keep adding that number to itself until you hopefully get to this end number. You should not be given anything that will give you a decimal. Sometimes you may, and at that point it might pay to change what variable you eliminated and see if the other solution for the other variable is a nicer one, and then you're going to get a decimal for the other one. But usually for the MCAT, because you do not have a calculator, your numbers should be nice. Right, let's substitute that back into one of the equations. I am going to choose that very first one. So I'm going to choose 3p plus 2q is equal to 26. And I am replacing p with 4. So 12 plus 2q is 26. 2q is equal to 14. So q must be 7. So therefore, the solution is 4, 7. With these ones, it doesn't really matter which order. Usually you'll be told. But in fact, you don't even need that last sentence. Just having the answers and circling them in some way or highlighting them just to make sure the marker is aware that that is your answer for that. Or just saying, so P equals 4, Q equals 7. Just something like that at the end would be suffice. Right, hopefully this helped.